There's a messed up story making the rounds on the gossip circuit, and just so you have all the facts, I'm gonna cover it for you here today. Now, we all know that Jay-Z is a powerful man that's capable of ruining careers and even lives if he wants to. So tell me why his mistress Cathy White died while she was allegedly pregnant the same year Beyonce announced she was pregnant. And where did this info come from? The man with the big mouth himself, Jason Lee. He was friends with Cathy, and he recently said he had tea on Jay and Beyonce that he'd spill if he didn't get Kelly Rowland to sit down with him. Let's talk about this mysterious death and what Mr. Lee probably has on Jay-Z and Beyonce. Just to go over the basics, Cathy White was Jay-Z's alleged mistress who suffered a mysterious death the same year that Beyonce announced she was pregnant with their first child. The death is even more suspicious because she did an interview not long before that, disclosing her relationship with Jay. Rumors of an affair started popping off in 2010 when Cathy and Claudia Jordan got caught sitting next to Jay and Diddy at a table in Las Vegas Tao nightclub. And Beyonce was nowhere to be seen. They had gone to see a Floyd Mayweather match against Juana Manuel Marquez. And a source revealed that he bought an expensive gift for Cathy, known as Corey, that evening. Sources now tell us just before the pair attended the Sin City fight, Jay purchased a $2,500 pair of Louis Vuitton shoes for Corey to wear that evening. Insiders say Jay requested Corey bring a few friends to ride with him that evening in order for them not to appear as a couple. During their time in Vegas, Jay also took Corey gambling at the Bellagio Casino. That's where Jay was again reportedly adamant about Corey's friends curling the pair during their time at the table in an attempt to cover their public appearances. Rumor has it that Jay and Cathy were hooking up long before he was married to Bey. And once you find out that Cathy's friend Claudia Jordan has a reputation of being a homewrecker, the fact that Cathy would still hook up with Jay once he was married sorta makes sense. Sources tell us they first learned of Corey's affair with Jay-Z from her good friend Jason Lee. We have since confirmed this report with several close associates of Hova. We're told Jay-Z is a good catch for Corey since she's openly admitted to only mess with super rich guys, and that unless a man has a net worth of at least $50 million, she won't pay him any attention. Obviously, that was said to try and make Cathy look bad, but I say it's whatever. Go get that bag, girl. Out here getting 2,500 shoes and gambling it up at the Bellagio. Look at you. I'm not a fan of her having an affair with a married man, but people are gonna do whatever, and I'm gonna sit over here and keep my opinions to myself about that. Anyway, check out this blind item from 2020 that's allegedly about Claudia Jordan. This A-list host/model is also an actress. Our host has always stayed quiet about the death of her friend, but has become more convinced over the years that the permanent A+ list rapper had her friend. It just seemed too convenient that he wanted her out of the picture, and shortly after he said that, the friend ended up dead. But since Cathy and Jay-Z were regularly hooking up and being seen out in public, tabloids and various media outlets started coming around asking Cathy what the deal was. And about 2 weeks before she died, a major media outlet interviewed her, and she didn't give them very much information. However, one of her friends said she allegedly called Jay right after that and said she was going to expose their affair for the right price. Within 48 hours of Beyonce's pregnancy announcement, Cathy was dead. It was reported that she died suddenly from an aneurysm, but that cause of death is incredibly weird, and there are reports that it definitely wasn't an aneurysm. Cathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported widely around the internet today. According to an NYPD detective who told me Cathy's cause of death is uncertain, and later today we will have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious. He also went on to say, a 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Cathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death. But someone might have given Cathy bad, so they'll do a toxicology report and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report. Even though NYPD officers were allegedly talking to sources and saying the death was suspicious and that they were going to run an autopsy, that autopsy report was never released. Someone worked to keep it from seeing the light of day and making its way into the hands of media outlets and got everyone to go along with the aneurysm story. Now follow me for a minute so you can understand where my head is with this story. Do you know what Jay-Z was before he made it big? He was actually a drug dealer during the height of the crack epidemic in the 80s. So it's interesting that the cop said maybe Cathy had been given bad drugs. You know what a successful drug dealer doesn't mess with? Bad drugs. If there's one thing that Jay-Z's days on the streets would have taught him, he'd know how to stay away from anything that wasn't legit, unless he wanted to give someone bad drugs on purpose. I'm just saying, if Cathy was close to an ex-drug dealer and died from possible tainted drugs, it makes sense that the dealer is where they came from. Anyway, the story got dragged back up again when reporter Liz Crocken was asked to look into it. Jay-Z and the Mistress. The truth about Jay-Z's alleged mistress Cathy White and her potential. In August of 2011, I was working as a senior editor for Star magazine. My boss asked me to look into online blog reports claiming that a woman named Cathy White, who friends called Corey, was having an affair with Jay-Z. She said, I managed to get a hold of Cathy at her job in New York over the phone. During our first conversation, she denied having an affair with Jay-Z. Furthermore, she also claimed that she had never hung out with him or had even met him. I then uncovered photos of Cathy hanging with Jay-Z and Diddy, no less at Town nightclub in Las Vegas. So I called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay-Z. At this point, Cathy expressed to me that she would consider going public with her story. Then she said she tried to reach out to her again. Days later, I tried to reach her at work with no luck. I finally got a hold of one of her colleagues and I asked her if she knew why Cathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. Liz said that Cathy might have told Jay about their conversation. Sources told me that Cathy had told Jay-Z she was considering going public with Star via me after we talked. There were also online blogs that reported this too. I ran a small story on this that appeared in Star at the time. I wanted to pursue this story further, particularly investigate if she was indeed. However, I was discouraged from doing so. My boss was not interested in running a follow-up piece. There were blogs that reported that after I talked to Cathy, she reached out to Jay-Z and told her she may go public about the affair. Then she added, years later, I met sources who knew both Jay-Z, Cathy, and inside information on her death. They strongly believe Jay-Z had her silence her. One source told me Jay-Z had law enforcement and even coroners in his back pocket. The source also said that there are corrupt coroners in New York City who still rule homicides as natural deaths for cash. Considering that Jay-Z's worth millions, paying some cops and coroners off would be easy for him. People say that Beyonce was in on the plot with Jay, primarily because she was pregnant with his child at the time. People said that Cathy becoming pregnant was the big reason that Beyonce came forward with her own pregnancy announcement. People say that Beyonce rushed to get pregnant because Cathy was. We can't overlook the fact that if Cathy really did come out and spill all the tea on Jay-Z, that wouldn't be a good look for the pair that had just done a huge pregnancy announcement. We also know that Jay-Z has had other mistresses. It's long been considered fact that Rachel Roy was who Beyonce referred to as Becky with the good hair. So why would they move to take out Cathy? Well, she was extorting Jay-Z. The other girls didn't come out with tell-all stories to the press. And Jason Lee has threatened to spill info on Beyonce.
I mean, like, there should be a little love there. Now,
maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce. And they're not going to share that with her.
Yvette knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts. Yvette know I got the receipts. I got them. Now, if I get that message to Beyonce,
yes,
I can get it to I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce.
She needs to know.
And I think people like her publicist, who I love, and I'm just being critical. That's just what I do. You know that, Yvette. We're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland because I say this about, then it's gonna be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts. The receipts I just told you about, then I'll put those out.
There's speculation that Jay-Z's dead, pregnant mistress and Beyonce's involvement in the crime is what Jason Lee is threatening to expose. If you're wondering why you haven't heard the story before, somebody has done some hardcore internet scrubbing on this story. Check this out. Apparently, Jay-Z appointed some random guy the head of Deuce Liquor.
Okay, so I was doing some more digging, and allegedly, Jay-Z hired a man named Mr. Carpet and then promoted him to Deuce ambassador. And I'm going to show y'all when Deuce was established. I was like, the timeline of all this is funny, but pause to read this, and I'm going to show y'all. Hold on. Deuce was established in June of 2012. These timelines, just, it add up to me. It makes sense to me. I be thinking about the kids, but I mean, they ain't think about them.
The person at the beginning of that video alleges that it's because Mr. Carpet took care of Cathy White for Jay. The TikToker had to do some serious digging to find Mr. Carpet and eventually figured out it's because he was being called Mr. Rugs. Dude's real name was never even used, and he looks nervous as to be photographed next to Jay, if you ask me. And honestly, this isn't the only girl that rumors have swirled about Jay-Z taking out for Beyonce.
Wait, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Damn on your From the Austin Powers shit, it was some of the worst. They were having a hard time taking her solo. And then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and you know, kind of think it's crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dane. And Aaliyah's gone, and you know. You have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky this keep getting?
Now, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think Jay-Z had something to do with Cathy's death? Do you think Beyonce knew? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.